What if I told you you could immediately buy pre-bis gear the second Kata drops and you could wear right when you hit level 85? Imagine being massively ahead of the curve from everybody else in a way that leaves everybody else struggling to keep up. That could be your future if you start hoarding Justice Points right now, the brand new currency in Cataclysm. In this guide, I'm going to spill the beans on some killer strategies so you can farm these points as quickly as possible. That way you can secure a raid spot so you can farm on Nixia again. So let's talk Justice Points, the ultimate key to gearing up in Cataclysm Classic. Justice Points are the brand new currency available right now, and they're going to be used when Cataclysm launches on May 20th. They're primarily used to buy rare 346 item level pre-bis items. For Alliance, those items can be purchased at Faldron Tillsdale in Old Town. And for Horde, they'll be spent at Gunra and Gromesh Hold. You can actually stockpile up to 4,000, which is enough to buy 1 to 3 items depending on which ones you pick. In the pre-patch, you can generate Justice Points from queuing for the RDF Heroic. Every boss you kill in those heroics will also generate Justice Points as well. And then on top of that, you can also pick up daily quests from Archmage Landalock. There are both heroic and gamma quests available, and you can do them both at the same time. As for raids, you'll get big Justice Points from the weekly raid assassination quest. You'll also get Justice Points from every single boss kill, which means ICC runs are definitely back on the menu. And when we're actually in Cataclysm, random normal RDF queues will also give bonus Justice Points too. Well, you might be asking yourself, why is it so important to farm Justice Points right now? There are really 3 major reasons. The first reason is that if you look at your Cataclysm pre-bis list, it's going to contain all sorts of reputation and profession items. Farming those reputations the first week is going to be pretty difficult for most players. That's because you'll be spending a lot of time doing things like archaeology and leveling. So if you plan to clear raids like Blackwing Descent the first week, Justice Points are really your best friend. Unlike reputations which you can't pre-farm, if you pre-farm Justice Points, you'll be able to use them to instantly purchase between 1 to 3 items at 85. Meanwhile, many of the items on your pre-bis list likely cost gold. Meanwhile, Justice Points are completely free. On launch, I could decide to shell out thousands of gold for a Lightning Lash. Or I could just grab a Justice Point belt and wait a week or 2 for prices to drop. The second reason Justice Points are so crucial to farm is that you need an average of 333 item level to use RDF to queue for heroic dungeons. I mean, sure, you could go in with lower item level with terrible gear with 4 people, but it'd probably be a wipe fest. So even if some of your true pre-bis gear comes from inside Blackrock Caverns, buying a 346 item level piece will be a big help for both getting inside the dungeon and not wiping in it. The third reason it's so important to farm Justice Points right now is that you might not necessarily get that many on launch week. If you level with questing, you won't gain any Justice Points. But questing makes a ton of sense in Cata, particularly because you want to start working on gaining rep with factions and have your pre-bis gear. The problem with that is that when you hit 85, you'll be behind on gear, at least compared to players that were able to snipe a couple of Justice Point pieces right when they maxed. So that's why getting all the points you can on all your alts makes the most sense. Let's talk optimal farming strategies. The optimal farming strategy right now is to take advantage of the daily and weekly quests on all your alts at the same time. In the pre-patch, you can generate Justice Points from queuing for the RDF Heroic for 23 points a day. These can be combined with the daily quests from Archmage Landalock, which we talked about earlier. He offers a daily heroic quest for 23 points, as well as a daily gamma for 34 points. That means for just 20 minutes or so of your time, you could be getting 80 points in every single ult. And that's on top of the 16 you'd be getting per boss kill as well. After that, you could just spam random heroics. Then on top of the daily heroic, you should definitely be prioritizing the weekly raid quest. That quest gives 138 Justice Points, and it only takes about 20 minutes, unless you get some kind of nightmare group. Usually people prefer to do these in 10-man groups, and they're formed around peak raid times. This week, I found a group in the Looking for Group channel, and then I killed Razor Scale for 138 points. It only took about 10 minutes, definitely worth it. The other key to optimally gaining Justice Points is to run raids like Icecrown Citadel. There are groups forming all the time, and you gain a massive 288 Justice Points from a run. That's insanely efficient, considering a run might only take about 2 to 3 hours. Plus, all your alts are going to want ICC gear anyways for Cata leveling, so this is just an incredibly efficient use of your time right now. Another increasingly popular way to get Justice Points is achievement runs. That's where you go back to the old raids and try to get one of the mounts from the achievements. Other than simply having the achievement mount as a flex, players really want that 310 speed mount before Cata. Sure, in China, you can buy Master Riding to fly at 310 speed. But if you already have 310 speed, you get grandfathered in on all your alts, which saves a ton of money. As for which achievement to aim for, it does seem like people spam for Alduar achievement runs more than any other run. Personally though, I'd recommend the 10-man Glory of the Raider, it's just the easiest. So we've talked about why you should get Justice Point gear, but we should also talk about how reforging plays a key role in making this gear even better. So one of the reasons to prioritize the 346 gear is that you can immediately reforge it. Reforging is where you take a stat on your gear and you replace it with 40% of the stat of your choosing. An example being the Pauldrons of the High Requiem on a warrior. You could, for example, replace 40% of the expertise with crit. That's because crit is more valued for warriors. And the really cool thing about Justice Point gear is because it has such a high item level, when you go to reforge it, it's going to give you more stats than, say, a 320 item would. So we've talked about how to get Justice Points and why to get Justice Points, but now let's talk about what you can actually get. So you can purchase 346 item level blue gear with Justice Points. Nearly every slot is covered: chest, leg, neck piece, offhand weapons. And these aren't class locked, they're just cloth, leather, mail, plate, just limited by what you can actually wear. Then on top of the 346 gear, you can also buy heirloom gear like chest pieces and shoulders to increase your XP gain. And although I wouldn't recommend it because they're so expensive, you can also get the 264 pieces from Dalaran Quartermasters as well. As for specific pieces to keep an eye on, for plate-wearing DPS, notable pieces include the Pauldrons of High Requiem, which we just talked about, Reaping Gauntlets, the Greaves of Gallantry. Those are shoulders, gloves, and legs that are arguably pre-bis for plate damage dealers. Then meanwhile, rogues will optionally want to grab the Embrace of the Night. That's a pre-bis shoulder option that could go alongside the leggings of the Burrowing Mole for legs. Adeli and Resto Shamans will definitely take particular interest in the leggings of Soothing Silence. Enhancement Shamans and Hunters won't feel left out though. They've got their eyes on the Gloves of the Passing Night with hit rating and agility. And Druids can join the party with the leggings of the Late Blooms. It's perfect for Boomkins and my Resto Druid as well. And if you're a cloth wearer, you can't go wrong with the Summer Song shoulder wraps. I'm definitely getting those on my priest. Farming Justice Points is the single best thing you could do right now to hit the ground running at Cataclysm. At 85, when everybody else is stuck in greens, you're going to have a bunch of 346 rare items. That's going to easily take you into raids like Blackwing Descent or just Heroics. In fact, I'm even prioritizing Justice Points over Archaeology right now. But I am curious what you guys are up to. Are you focusing on Justice Points or Archaeology or something else entirely? I'd love it if you told me about your Cata Prep in the comments. Alright guys, it's that time of the video where I want to say thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and then check out the ultimate pre-patch secrets video next. You don't want to miss it.